So feel free to mute yourselves unless you want to sing to us while you're in class. And I welcome it, honestly. I believe in all of your singing abilities. So,
Wait, is there a playlist or should we just do?
you know what? I think today I didn't make a playlist for today. And I kind of would invite you, maybe just with everything going on and the need to process, to see how going without a playlist works for you today. It can actually be a really interesting way to further connect mind and body. So let's try that today. And we are going to start standing. So go ahead, come to your feet at the top of your mat. And the first thing I want to say is just that today sucks. And there's no reason for us to pretend that it doesn't, or try to find this good vibes only mentality. It's really not very productive for our ability to process the situation and for our ability to observe how we're reacting to what's happening around us. So I invite you to feel what you feel, and it's okay to feel shitty, and know that we can continue to put one foot in front of the other, even if the steps are small. So we're going to move today. We're going to move our bodies. We're going to move in a mild to moderate fashion, and then do some longer holds on some more restorative hip opening poses. So let's start with our feet wide and your hips turned out 45 degrees or so, and your feet are at the same angle. We're going to come down first into temple pose with your fingertips on the outside, thumbs on the inside. Let your hips get low. You may notice that your feet are too close together if your legs go beyond your ankle, or your knees go beyond your ankles. So just widen your stance. Let your hips open. Sway gently from side to side. Tune into the sensation of the earth below you, and where your feet connect with the mat. Let's add a little bit of movement here. On an exhale, draw in from center, tuck your chin slightly. Maybe that's your inhale, who knows? And then exhale, look towards the left, press your right knee away. You don't have to worry too much about the breath as we get into this. Draw in from center. Let's go to the other side. Press your left knee away. We'll go one more time in each direction. Exhale, twist. Inhale through center, draw navel to spine, and exhale, twist to the right. Oh, there it is. There's that back pop. Come back to center. Straighten your legs. Pull your feet in towards you just a little bit. So it's still a wide stance. Maybe it's as wide as your mat or just slightly wider. And bend your knees again. So your hips are low, but not super low. Just enough bend to feel some buoyancy. And bring both hands to your abdomen. Just softly placing one hand over the other. Close down your eyes. Tune into the sensations, the physical sensations of your body breathing. The movement of your abdomen as you inhale and exhale. In yoga, we call this place the Agni. This is where your inner fire is lit. A place that fuels our ability to transmute anything that we might be feeling into something that can help us keep going. Our ability to turn struggle into purpose. Doesn't have to be something big. It could be something smaller. Connect with that intention. Begin to straighten your legs, release your arms, turn your toes towards each other and inhale your arms out and up, broadening across your collarbones as you reach your arms above your head. And exhale, bend through your hips. Reach your hips back, keep your spine long, hands come all the way down to the earth. Let's lengthen out, reach, walk your hands out so they're underneath your shoulders. Reach the crown of your head towards the front of the mat, and then exhale, fold forward. With bent knees and a long spine, press down. Use your legs to help you rise back up to standing. And exhale, hands back to heart center. Release your hands. We'll do this 2 more times. Press down, reach up through the crown of your head. Exhale, swan dive down to the earth. Fingertips touch the mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Press down into the earth. Come back up, hands over your head. And exhale, hands through center. Feeling that one last cycle. Reach hands up. Exhale, slide bend through your knees. Shift the weight towards your toes as you lengthen your spine. And exhale, point elbow straight back as you fold. Rise back up. Exhale your hands through midline. And clasp your hands behind you. Reach your knuckles down and away from your hips. Broaden across your collarbones. Draw your shoulder blades together. Before we fold, just take a moment to feel the stretch and the expansion across your heart. Now slightly bend your knees again. Hips move back. Keep your hands interlaced as you fold forward and your arms will come up and over. Relax through your neck. Soften through your shoulders. You might find that bending one knee at a time here creates some interesting stretching sensations for you. And come back to center, both legs straight. Release your hands. Grab a hold of your elbows and allow your torso to release. Again, neck is relaxed. Weight is in the front of your feet. Just feel everything pour down the back of your neck and out the crown of your head. Release your hands back to the mat and step back into downward dog. Take a moment to get set up. Fingertips spread wide, hands slightly externally rotated. Bend one knee at a time without rushing and observing each leg separately, noticing any ways that they might be slightly different in how they're feeling today. Just taking that moment to observe without judgment. And come back to center. Inhale your heels above your toes. Draw your chin into your chest. Lift the space behind your heart as you roll forward into plank. Shoulders arrive over your wrists. Extend through the crown of your head, through your heels. Press your fingertips into the mat to help protect your wrist and engage your shoulders. We'll come back to downward dog. Lift from center. Exhale, soften through your ankles. without rushing. One more time, wave forward slowly, carefully, patiently articulating your spine as you come back into plank. You're going to hear my instant pop beep a little bit here. And then on your exhale, elbows point back, lower all the way down to the mat. Place the top of each feet on the earth. Feel your knees lift. And then take your fingertips to the outside edges of your mat, about in line with your rib cage. So not up too high, but right in line with your rib cage. And then shoulders loop. Lengthen the front of your body as you rise up into cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Let's do that 2 more times, finding the fluidity here. Maybe increasing the height of your cobra with each cycle. Last one, shoulders loop. Keep the back of your neck long as you lift. And then exhale, lower back down. Hands underneath your shoulders. Through knee plank, or child's pose, we'll come back to downward dog. Let's take 3 really strong cleansing breaths here in downward dog. Inhale deeply. And exhale, tongue out, let it go. 2 more times. Wonderful. Bring your big toes to midline. Inhale your right leg straight back and up. Let your hips open as they lift. Exhale, draw your knee into center. Lift from center, shift forward. Place your right foot between your hands. Ground your back heel, so your heel to arch alignment. Follow your left hand up and over for warrior 2. Flip your front palm. Reach your left hand down your left leg. Right arm reaches up and over. Bend your front knee. Exhale, keep the length in your right side. Right elbow to right knee. Left arm reaches up and over for just a moment in side angle pose. Keep the arm going. And then come back to warrior 2. Feel the strength before you place your hands back to the mat. With control, step into plank. Follow me here for a moment because we're going to slow down our transitions. Point your elbows back, lower down. Find a hover right before you make connection. Fingertips press down, tops of feet rooted, shoulders loop. Inhale through cobra. Exhale, release. And again, follow me before we jump back up. Tuck your toes. Press into a hover. And then back through plank to downward dog. If you missed some of those hovers this first round, that's okay. We've got more. Left leg, inhale back and up. Feel free to let your hips open. Exhale, left knee to chest. Shift forward, foot between hands. Rotate your back heel down. Right hand leads the way. Observe the strength and foundation of this pose. And then move into the reverse warrior. Exhale, left elbow on the inside of left knee. Right arm makes a big arc above your head. Keep reaching forward. Hands connect. Follow back up into warrior 2. Again, feel the solid foundation below you. And then place your hands to the mat. With control, step into plank. Exhale, hover, and then come to the earth. Peel yourself away from your mat. Dissolve. A hover. And then back to downward dog. This next 2 rounds will move a little more fluidly between warrior 2 and reverse warrior, but find the strength in those transitions between warrior 2 and reverse. Big toes to touch, right heel reach back. Exhale, knee to chest. Right foot between your hands, ground your back heel. Left hand leads. Flip your right palm, flow back into reverse warrior. Exhale, elbow on the inside of right thigh. Left hand sweeps above your head, and then your strength lifts you back to warrior 2. Exhale, firmly plant your hands to the mat. Engage your fingertips, step into plank. Draw navel to spine. As you come down to the earth, hover, and then release. Moving fluidly, find the liberation of cobra. Balanced by the structure and strength of plank with the hover. Doesn't have to be long. Just a point for us to not rush. Toes together, left leg inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Foot underneath your nose. Right heel down. Bend your front knee as you rise into your strong warrior 2. Front hand lifts up. Keep your foundation solid as we breathe 1 breath in side angle pose and back to warrior 2. Hands to the mat. Control back to plank. Hover. Peel yourself away. Hands under shoulders, toes tucked, little hover, and then back to downward dog. 1 more time on each side. Breathe and then lift right leg. Exhale, draw your knee up towards your chest. Ground your back heel. Coming through warrior 2 to reverse warrior. Right side expands. Right elbow. Left arm, reach up. Feel the length. And then come back to your strong warrior 2. Hands to the mat. Step your right foot back. Resist gravity as you lower down. Find that point of strength and hover. And then release. Tops of feet, press down and back. Shoulders loop. Collarbones broaden. Tuck toes. Moment of hover. And then back to downward dog. Last time on the left side. Inhale, right, left leg lifts. Exhale, hug your knee in. Foot between your hands. With strength, find your warrior 2. Reverse warrior. Just a light press with your back hand. And then left elbow. Right arm as strong as it reaches forward. Inhale back up to warrior 2. Both hands to the mat. Step back with patience and intention. Slowly lower. Hover. And then release. Loop your shoulders. Lengthen the front of your body. Soften. Hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes. One last hover. Back up through plank to downward dog. Let's take one more cleansing breath here in downward dog. And bring our knees to our mat. You can take your knees wide or keep them together. We're coming into child's pose for a moment. So whether or not your knees are apart or together, you'll send your hips back towards your heels and keep your hands forward, palms down. You can ground your forehead in something. That'd be great. It could also be if you wanted to bring your hands in and place your hands under your forehead, feel free to do so. Take this moment to check in with the conditions of your mind, merely for observational research purposes, not making any judgments about how you feel or should feel, simply noticing. From child's pose, we'll come up through all fours. Shift our feet to the side and bring our feet in front of us for a little bit of core work. So we're doing, like I said, we're going to be moving through movement and then rest, movement and rest, movement and rest today. Reach your arms in front of you and slowly make your way back down to the mat. Bring your feet in. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh here. We're familiar with this. We've been here before. We'll take a moment to stretch the outer right hip before we go into this core work. But I want you to interlace your fingers either on the back of your left hamstring or on the outside of your left calf. And just enjoy the stretch. Don't try to force it into being anything perfect or more. Just appreciate your hips and what they do for you. And take this as an opportunity to give them a little bit of love back. From here, take your hands behind your head. Keep your left leg lifted. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. So you're already engaging your Agni's, again, your core. Take your left leg and press it out as you lower your upper body just halfway out. Your left leg won't extend all the way, just part of the way. And on an exhale, draw everything into center right. Shin comes towards chest, chest comes towards shin. Inhale, left leg presses out, lengthen, keep your gaze towards the sky. Exhale, everything back to middle. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, shin to chest, chest to shin, lift your hips. Inhale, press out. We're going slow on purpose, so no race here. One more on this side. Left leg presses out. Exhale, draw everything back to center. Hold it for just a moment. No need to pulse today unless you really like it. I'm not trying to overdo your nervous system here. Just a little bit of core awakening. All right, let's go ahead and release your left leg. Keep your right leg crossed. Reach your arms out long, out straight out of their sockets, and then you'll tip this whole structure of your lower body to the left so that your right foot is on the earth and your left knee is still bent. I like to grab a hold of my right foot here with my left hand. And then you can just gently press your right rib cage down, and you'll feel a lengthening or maybe a slight stretch in your IT band. So that's on the outer part of your right hip. And maybe you're feeling that, maybe you're not feeling it as much, but I assure you that it's there. And if you have any IT band injuries, like I have, you'll definitely feel this stretch. Maybe that's why I like it so much. All right, let's come back to center slowly. Has to be kind to our lower back, and switch the cross of our legs. Left ankle on top of right thigh. Draw your left shin in. Reach through the keyhole, and your two options of interlacing hands behind hamstring or clasping hands over right shin. Just again, take a moment here, relax your shoulders and your face. Appreciate this moment to have to do nothing except breathe. To balance that nothing, we'll do a little bit of work. Take your hands behind your head. Lift head, neck, and shoulders. Feel your strong center already engaged. Press out with your right foot on your inhale. Lower upper body lowers halfway. Gaze stays up. Exhale, lift your shoulder blades off the mat. Draw your left knee in towards your chest. Again, inhale out. Exhale back to center. Even the lower part of your shoulder blades is lifting. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale in. Right leg extends. Left shin to chest, chest to shin. We'll go one more time. Press out, right leg active. Exhale, come back to middle. Lift your heart, lift your hips up slightly more. Stay engaged. Pay attention to the strength. Those are the sensations of strength and change. A couple more breaths here. And then gently release your right foot, lower your upper body to the earth. Like before, your lower body structure lowers to the right. Maybe grab a hold of your left foot with your right hand. You don't have to do anything special here. You don't have to press your left knee away. Sometimes it does feel interesting to see if pressing your left rib cage down causes a little more lengthening, a little more sensation on your IT band. It might be subtle. Notice if your shoulders are trying to add to the effort. They don't need to. You can relax them. And let's come back to center. Options for coming into a standing position at the top of your mat could be rolling on your back 3 times or rolling over to your side and coming through all fours. So I'm going to do the rolling option. Get a little bit of momentum, a little bit of speed. We start working our energy back up. And maybe we come up without using our hands. You guys know that's my favorite. Come back to the top of your mat. Bring your feet underneath your hips so they're about 2 fists apart. You can just judge. And bend your knees. What I want you to first notice is maybe one of your knees, like with my body, you can see it actually from here. My right knee tips inward. So I want you to keep that in that alignment so that both knees are tracking over your feet intentionally. And then lower your hips a little bit further. Notice if you're over exaggerating the bend in your lower back. So draw your lower ribs in, navel to spine. And from here, we'll sweep our hands forward into chair pose. I really want you to lift up. So your hands just aren't like up here for fun. You're intentionally like shooting energy out of your fingertips. Now from here, bring your hands together. Pull your hands through center, straighten your legs. Release your arms, reach your arms up over your head. And exhale, hinge forward, hands come down to the earth. Step into downward dog. Big toes together. Inhale your right leg back and up. Let your hips open, bend at your knee. Keep your shoulders square. So this is a hip opener more than a back bend. Left heel presses down, right knee presses up. Exhale, draw your knee into midline. Lift from center. Place your right foot between your hands. Ground your left heel, your heel to arch alignment. Follow your left hand up and over, warrior two. We'll pause here for a moment just to make sure we're all in the same place with our alignment or close to. So your right knee is right over your right ankle and tracking towards either the center of your foot, or you can relax your left hand if you want, or taking your knee, pressing it towards the pinky edge of your right foot. If that's not happening for you, your knees tipping in, move your hips slightly towards the top left corner of your mat, and that will allow you to get your leg in its most safe space. So keep your hips here. Now extend out through your arms and turn just your shoulders to face the long edge of your mat. Lots of strength through your arms, so if somebody came and pressed on them, they would be pretty stable. Press down and away through your feet, so even the knife edge of your back foot is engaged, and pull up on the inseam of your left leg. Let's add a little bit of breathing here. On the exhale, pull your hands in towards your heart. Feel free to close your eyes here. Inhale, lengthen out from heart to fingertips. Exhale, hands to center. Inhale, expand. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, lengthen back out and hold. Straighten your front leg. Turn your toes to the side of the mat. We'll take a moment here, come back to our friend temple pose with our hips low, thumbs on the inside. Sway a couple times if it's settling for you. I know it is for me. And from temple pose, we'll bring our hands to our heart, but you're not moving your hips up. So try to keep them where they are right here. Keep this engagement and bring your hands to your heart. Yes, not easy. Now, inhale your arms out like we did in Warrior Two. And then you'll reach your left hand forward, your right hand over your head. We won't be here for too long. Inhale, stretch out heart to fingertips. Exhale, left hand over your head, right arm reaches back. Keep your hips low. Expand. Exhale, right hand over your head, left hand towards right leg. This is the last one. Exhale, left hand over your head. Come back to center. Inhale, broaden. Exhale, hands to center. Straighten your legs. Turn your toes in towards each other. Breathe your arms out and up. Lift through your sternum. Slight bend in your knees. Exhale, dive forward. I know that was work, and I've promised you both work and rest, so we're headed towards the rest. Pivot towards the top of the mat. Ground your back knee. And walk your right foot over toward your left foot. Your right knee will come down to the mat towards your right hand. Your right leg does not need to be parallel with the top of your mat, but it's a different stretch. If your right foot is drawn in, you're not getting as much out of it. So do work it to up towards your left hand as much as you safely can. If that's really not happening for you today, then the other option is Z pose, which I love and think is great, which means you're bending your back leg towards the left leg and pointing your left knee towards the left side. So regardless of which option you've chosen, let's lean forward today. So lengthen first through your spine and then lean forward as much as you can. Take your hands, your forearms down, maybe bring your forehead to the backs of your hands. We'll be here for an amount of time. I want you to pay attention to the sensation in your right hip and how it changes. Really tune in to your body here. Relax your shoulders. Well, this might be creating a lot of noise and chatter from your right hip. Assuming you're listening to your body and you're safe, everything is okay. No need to panic. Start to walk your hands back in. Press yourself up into a more lifted position. Tuck your back toes. Lift through your hips and then send your right leg back and open up your hips like we did to start this wave. Reverse that hip position. Get the blood moving in another direction. Shake it out. Ground your right foot. Lift your heels, draw navel to spine, roll forward into plank, lengthen through the crown of your head to your heels. Exhale, return to the mat. Tops of feet press down, press your toes into the mat. Shoulders loop, gazes down slightly ahead. Exhale, release. Hands under your shoulders again, toes tuck, knees lift, and press up through plank to downward dog. Switching sides here. Left leg, inhale, reach back and up, let your hips open, bend at your knee. Keep your shoulders square. Exhale, draw your knee in towards your chest, hug it up towards your body, and place your left foot between your hands. Rotate your back foot so that you can anchor your right heel down and be heel to arch alignment. Follow your right arm up into warrior two. Taking our moment to pause with some cues on this side too, so things stay even. First, check your hips. Maybe they need to angle towards the right corner. and knee. Let's talk a little bit about the distance of our feet. Eventually, you want your feet, your ankles to be underneath your wrists. So sometimes our stance is a little bit too close. So you might just want to pay attention. Can I lengthen out any more? Is there more transformation available to me today, or is this enough? Maybe it's enough. Shoulder square with the side of your mat. Collarbones broaden and draw your lower ribs in. Hips low, crown of head lifts up. Again, engage the inner seam of your right leg. We'll add a little movement here, same one. Exhale, hands to heart. Feel free to close your eyes. Inhale, open up, heart to fingertips. Kind of like you're pulling Laffy Taffy. I've never done that, but I imagine this is what it's like. Keep following the cycle of your breath. Inhale out one more time. Actually, we'll draw it in one more time. Exhale, come together in the center with your hands. Inhale, broaden back out. Straighten your front leg. Turn your feet towards the right side of your mat. Bring your hands to your thighs. Set up again for temple pose. Hips low. And this time we'll add a little bit more or a different movement. So hips stay low. Bring your hands to your heart. From here, we'll lift our hands, lift your hips just a couple inches, and then turn your hands down. Exhale, reground, lower your hips. Won't be here for too long. So see if you can transmute this mild suffering into something deeper for a deeper purpose. Strength and grounding, the awareness of our strength, witnessing our own vitality. Lower your hands, bring your hands to your heart. Straighten your legs. Turn your toes towards one another. Release your arms. Breathe your arms up over your head. Take in a big breath. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Dive forward. Hands come down to the earth and pivot towards the front of the mat. Back knee comes down. Left foot walks over to your right hand. Left knee comes down to the earth. Square your hips. Know if pigeon or Z pose is right for you today. You can take a moment, get adjusted. Notice if all your weight is on your left hip and how the sensation changes as you shift from side to side. I encourage you to pick the side with the most transformation that's still safe and available to you today. And from here, feel free to fold forward. And maybe you're just on your forearms. That's absolutely acceptable. Maybe your forehead is on a block. Or maybe your forehead is on the backs of your hands. But find a place to feel grounded. And again, noticing what sensations are you avoiding? And which ones are you favoring? As your mind starts to drift, gently usher it back to your body, to your left hip. If you're folded all the way forward, slowly walk your hands back and towards your body. And instead, well, yeah, actually, we are going to do that. Tuck your back toes. And like before, lift your left leg straight back and up. Shake your left leg out. Ground your left foot in the earth. We'll do one last vinyasa. Roll forward like a wave. Exhale, release to the mat. Collarbones broad as you lift up through cobra. Release. And instead of coming back to downward dog, let's come back to seated. Take a moment, just sit for a moment. I'm going to demo where we're headed. So we've been opening up our hips for a pose that I love called Agnistambhasana. So it fits with our theme of Agni, fire, and transformation, but it's more restorative. So I felt like it was appropriate for today. So in Agnistambhasana, and you don't have to do this yet, we'll cross our legs so that our right, and we'll do each side, that right ankle would be over left knee and right knee over left ankle. Some of us, and you can see how my right, there's some space here between left knee and left and right, left foot and right knee. Boy, that was getting confusing. And that's okay. You don't have to get it perfectly down. It's just something to be aware of. We'll lengthen our spine. Some of you might just like to stay here, or some of you might like to fold forward and place a block underneath your forehead. And for some of you with really strong hips, this is going to be a tough pose to come into. So I have another option for you. You'll draw, let's all do this together, actually. So bring your left heel into center and cross your right. We're all going to do this. Cross your right foot over your left thigh. So a lot of you are feeling this stretch right now a lot, and that's great. We're going to turn into a twist just for a moment. So take your left arm around your right thigh and then look over your right shoulder, lengthening through the crown of your head. So this is a great twist, a great hip stretch. Come back to center. Some of you will stay right here. Others will walk your left foot out so your shin is parallel with the line of the mat in front of you, and your right ankle over your left knee. So whatever place you've chosen, we're going to be here for a couple moments. So find something you can sit with. If you're choosing to fold forward, lengthen and lift before you fold. Maybe that's with a block or not, but I highly recommend a block or something. You could also use your hands. But make some connection. A moment to turn inward and observe. Release your arms, walk your hands back in. Take your hands behind you, release your feet both down and cross them. And we'll just wave our knees back and forth gently from side to side. As your knees come to the left side, we'll take a moment to twist. Walk your right arm over towards your left and look over your left shoulder. Just a nice counter stretch there. We'll come back to center. Bring your right heel back in this time. Cross your left left foot over your right. Wrap your right arm around your left leg and take your left hand behind you. Lift up and then twist, looking over your left shoulder. Come back to center. And your choice is to stay here or take your right foot out and stack your shins in Agnistambhasana, also referred to as fire log pose, like your legs are a couple of logs. You can position your block if you'd like, but again, before you fold, lengthen through your spine, lift your sternum, and then fold forward. Be here for a few breaths, and then we'll complete the class. Slowly bring your hands back in toward you. Come back up. Move your block aside if you had one out. Place both feet on the mat, hands behind you. Knees go to the right, to the left, and then back to the right. Keep going. Upper body moves all the way over to the right. Look over your right shoulder, press your right fingers down, little bit of a counter stretch here. And then come back to center. From here, we'll gently roll to your back. And it may feel like a nice counter stretch to bring both of your knees towards each other with your feet wide. And bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your navel. Relax through your shoulders. This is one of my favorite ways to end a class. I feel really supported through my lower back. If you know that Shavasana is what you need today, feel free to lengthen out through your legs. Open up your palms. But bring your attention to the places where your body meets the mat, wherever you are. Move energy downwards. Notice your body breathing. And place your attention in the spaces between your thoughts. Shavasana. Starting with your fingers and toes. Slowly bring movement back into your body. Deepen your breath. Bend at your knees. Roll to one side. And pause for a moment. Press yourself up to a seated position at the front of your mat, palms together. May you and all living things be safe, be happy, be healthy, and live with strength and ease. Namaste.